I remember the sheer frustration, the near despair, trying to master Claire's elusive dodges in Resident Evil Code Veronica X. Every failed sidestep felt like a personal attack. Every wasted bullet felt like a small tragedy. And yet, little did I know, those moments of pure rage were laying the groundwork for something unexpected. A few months later, when I picked up the demo for Devil May Cry, something strange happened. It did not feel foreign. It felt familiar. Today, we are exploring the unexpected lineage between two Capcom titans and how survival horror mechanics quietly prepared players for the birth of stylish action. Code Veronica X was not just another entry in the Resident Evil formula. Under the broader creative vision of Shinji Mikami, it pushed the series into fully 3D environments, and that subtle shift changed combat. You could no longer rely purely on fixed camera manipulation to control space. Enemies advanced more dynamically. Positioning mattered more. Timing mattered more. Most importantly, you had to commit. When you aimed, you planted your feet. When you fired, you accepted the recovery frames. When you tried to dodge, it required anticipation rather than reaction. This was not action. This was controlled panic. You learned enemy prioritization because you had to. You learned spacing because you had to. You learned when to fight and when to disengage because resources were scarce. Combat was not stylish. It was survival through discipline, and that discipline planted a seed. Then came the demo disc for Devil May Cry. Booting it up for the first time felt electric. The gothic castle, the music shifting from eerie ambiance to aggressive metal, Dante moving with a confidence Claire could only dream of. But underneath the speed and spectacle, I recognized the structure. The first real encounter with multiple marionette enemies forced the same mental checklist Code Veronica had trained into me. Who is the immediate threat? Who is flanking? Where is my escape route? The difference was philosophical. In Code Veronica, evasion was defensive desperation. In Devil May Cry, evasion was expression. The stylish sidestep, the jump, the weapon switch mid-combat. That was the moment of realization. This was not random chaos. It was the survival horror mindset refined and unleashed. In Code Veronica X, combat was about minimizing mistakes. In Devil May Cry, combat was about maximizing performance. The foundations were the same. Understanding enemy patterns, managing space, timing attacks, knowing when to reposition. Devil May Cry flipped the philosophy. Instead of asking, how do I survive this encounter, it asked, how stylishly can I dominate it? Even weapon switching evolved. In Code Veronica, switching weapons was tactical and slow, menu-driven and deliberate. In Devil May Cry, weapon switching became fluid identity. Sword to guns, guns to launcher, constant flow. What once felt restrictive now felt empowering. The discipline survival horror demanded became the backbone for stylish aggression. Devil May Cry famously began life as an early prototype for Resident Evil 4. Capcom developers were experimenting with mobility and action. Eventually, they realized the project no longer resembled Resident Evil, so they allowed it to evolve into something new. What we received was not just a new intellectual property, but the natural mutation of survival horror combat philosophy. You can feel it in the enclosed arenas reminiscent of mansion corridors, in deliberate enemy placement, and in combat that still punishes recklessness. The DNA is there. Devil May Cry did not reject Resident Evil design principles, it liberated them. Looking back, my frustration with Code Veronica X was not wasted energy. Those clunky sidesteps, those desperate reload moments, those panic-driven decisions trained me. So when Dante leapt into the air with guns blazing and sword flashing, I was not overwhelmed. I was ready. What started as survival horror discipline transformed into stylish action confidence. Sometimes the games that frustrate us the most are secretly preparing us for the ones we will love forever. From Claire's desperate dodges to Dante's effortless swagger, that is not just genre evolution. That is growth. And that is why that first Devil May Cry combo felt less like learning something new and more like finally mastering something I had been practicing all along. What felt like limitation was actually preparation. What felt like clunky survival mechanics were quiet lessons in timing, spacing, and discipline. Resident Evil taught me how to survive. Devil May Cry taught me how to dominate. One forced patience, the other rewarded expression. But they are not opposites, they are evolution. Without the tension, the fear, the planted feet and measured shots, the stylish chaos of Devil May Cry would not have felt nearly as powerful. The confidence only works because you understand the danger underneath it. So the next time a game frustrates you, slows you down, or demands more precision than you think is fair, remember this. You might not be struggling. You might be training. From survival to style, from fear to flair. That journey is not accidental. It is design. And sometimes the games that push us to the edge are the very ones preparing us to feel unstoppable.